Alright, so I thought I'd do a little update on this truck. It's actually been drivable for a little while, not too, I guess over a week or so. And I gotta bring it into the shop and put a windshield in it. And do the exhaust, add some other stuff. But I thought I'd try to show what I did for the transfer case. Hopefully this will show up. Let's see. Crawling around in the snow here. Alright. So there's this side of the crossmember. If you can see there, it has gussets. 3 gussets in it. I'm trying to make that show up. And that's a 5-inch exhaust. So it has clearance for the exhaust, for 5-inch exhaust. There's a mount for the torque arm. And see if I can get to show the other side of this. Oh, another thing that kind of annoyed me that I had to redo here. You see from a previous video, this is a challenge. That crossmember, tranny crossmember, I was real proud of myself after I built that. I had that feeling a little too soon because I had to go and cut it and notch it, or basically change the shape. See that? To clear the front drive shaft. So that's just 2x2, 3/16 wall thickness, square tubing, and that was kind of cool how that came out because I really just did that without even using a measuring tape. Like I just cut some pieces on the bench, cut them the right angle, cut them the right length and shape and everything, and it worked perfectly. Normally that does not happen. So, and here's my drive shaft that's from High Angle Driveline. It's a double CV shaft. I'm gonna go around the other side of the truck to see if I can get a better, oh, that wind does not feel good. Fucking cold in South Dakota. And I still have problems with this drive shaft. I've always had problems with it, and I've always had people talk shit about me, which they shouldn't have been talking shit about me. They should be talking shit about Jesse at High Angle Driveline for charging me $1,356 for a drive shaft that shakes my truck. But everybody on Pirate 4x4 instead chose to talk shit about me, saying that there was something wrong with something I built, and then I'm really so anyway, I shouldn't be dwelling on the negative there, but I brought this to Driveline service in Sioux Falls and had them add about 5.5 inches to it, and they rebalanced it and it still shakes the truck. So I got a theory about that, which is that when you balance a drive shaft like that, you need to balance it in different operating positions. You can't just balance it when it's straight with the slip yoke fully compressed. You got to balance it at different angles. That's just my theory. So I got to go back there and talk to them, see what they think about that. Another thing that was kind of annoying about this being from High Angle Driveline is they used DOM tubing, 1/8-inch thick wall DOM tubing, so it does not match. That normal drive shaft tubing is 0.083 wall thickness, so they didn't have any tubing that would match the DOM. So they had to build little bushings and just use a normal style tube for that. So they charged me a little more. Not a big deal though. All right, so I was going to try to show the transfer case crossmember. Well, so there's the mount on this side here. The reason there is that plate with the 4 bolts in it is that if you undo the cross bolt from the bushing there, the transfer case can't drop down by just doing that. You need to remove that whole plate just because the angle of it, the way it comes down. Oh, crawling around in the truck trying to show this here. Oh, let me zoom out. Let's see if that shows it a little better. Then I don't know if I got a good picture of the back of the transfer case, but that is two other bushings and DOM sleeves don't know if that's going to show up. There we go. Okay, you see the lower one right there, and part of the top one. Maybe I can get a different angle on that. Sort of shows up, I guess. And the torque arm, I had to shorten that. And the way I did that was, well, when you shorten your, I actually moved the rear end forward. Here, see this, where's that? Yeah. So here's where it used to be. So I moved it forward an inch. In the front spring hangers, drilled a hole, which is not showing up, but I moved the axle forward 1 inch. And I guessed at what length the drive shaft should be, because I added these leaves to the rear springs from sdtrucksprings.com, and they're pretty thick added leaves. So the rear of the truck's actually higher, the axles move forward, and the transfer case is about 6 inches back. So with different angles and different lengths and everything, I pretty much just guessed the length I need the drive shaft to be, and I got it dead on, which amazes me. Anyway, so then when I redid the torque arm, I had to cut the torque arm down a little. So there's why I welded this bar here, and I also had to redo that mount on the transfer case crossmember. But one of the things I did on here that's kind of unique, I think is pretty cool. Let's see if I can get this to show up here. Is I actually used a sleeve and 2 tie rods, which I cut the ends off of. Damn it, I can't get it right. There we go. And I just welded those into the tubing. So that gives me the ability to adjust my pinion angle by loosening those nuts and just turning this in the middle, because one's a left hand thread and one's right hand thread. And I don't actually need to have any stress on that arm while the truck's just sitting there, because with the 4-degree shims, let's see if I can get those to show up. Yeah, you can see that shim there under the leaf spring. With a 4-degree shim, the pinion angle is actually perfect at 0 degrees. Now, as I said, I think I wrote a comment in one of my other videos that you do want to have a slight angle on your U-joint just to keep the little bearings in there moving around. I know it sounds totally counterintuitive. God, it's cold out here. If you don't have your U-joint moving a little bit, it'll actually wear out. You know, how's it going to wear out if it's not moving? Well, it still does. Those little needles just get pushed against the same exact piece of metal over and over, and it just wears into the metal. So, but anyway, here's the trick on that. Why I actually probably don't need to have it up at all. Right now it's at 0.4 degrees. I set it at 0.4 degrees. But if you look straight ahead from the back of the truck, the drive shaft is actually not 100% in line with the truck. It goes off the transfer case, and the motor and the transmission is actually slightly offset to the passenger side, resulting in a very slight angle on that rear U-joint. So I could have my pinion angle at true 0 degrees, but still have a slight angle on that joint, which is kind of cool. I never realized that before, I guess. I also got about 7 inches of compression travel on my shocks. It's cool to have that back to where I wanted. I thought I was going to have to redo my shock mounts in the back. I don't have to yet, well, I think I'm probably just going to keep it like this. I was going to do airbags in the back and redo the shock mounts, but I don't really feel like spending that much more money right now. I got to do the rest of the exhaust. I got to redo my front shock mounts, and I got to put my gauges in, do some wiring, and I got to do my parking lights, because with this end tank, the intercooler is right here. I don't know if that shows up on camera, but there's not enough room for regular parking lights. So I have some LEDs I think will work pretty well. show what I got. Oh, no, I can't. Damn it, I don't have my keys. No. Well, I'll just do that in another video. I redid my whole twin stick shifter setup. I cut the stocks down and came out pretty nicely, but I'll just show that in another video. So, alright, thanks for watching.